Hello, friends. The embargo just lifted on the upcoming 6-0 Black Opal, so I wanted to give you some first impressions. I got a chance to travel to China to visit the factory where 6-0 is manufacturing their paddles. So here's a bit of travel vlog before we chat about the Black Opal in podcast format. So this is Dale in the center here, the owner of 6-0, and we're in the factory that makes the carbon fiber that's used in all their paddles. And here we are in the paddle factory. This is Dale's office. And this is a laser cutter where they're working on a full foam core. And this is a project not directly related to the Black Opal. But yeah, here's the oven room where they're preparing the paddle molds. So you've got various methods that work here to make Gen 2, Gen 3, and Gen 4 paddles. So basically they're inserting different elements of the paddle into a mold, and the mold goes into an oven, and then it's transferred to a cooling station. And here are the Black Opals after coming out of the oven and receiving their graphics with a UV printer. So I'll let Dale explain what's going on at this stage.
This is so after the paddles are printed, they come here for a QA inspection. Oh, this is prior to paddling to printing. Sorry, this is a QA station. You'll see there's a SOP on the wall, okay. But these ones have been singled out for something. There's a little dimple there.
Okay.
So that won't go. That's putting the edge guard onto the paddles.
And yeah, so the paddles work their way through this assembly line. Here they're putting on the handle pallets, and recently 6-0 switched over to the hard PU pallets instead of the softer EVA foam. And this is their warehouse where they're all boxed up and ready to ship. So yeah, this is just a brief tour of my visit to China. I'll put up more content from this trip eventually because I learned a lot, and I think that there will probably be some interest in seeing more behind-the-scenes stuff on how paddles are made.
And last on our list today, John.
Yes, sir.
The 6-0. Is it the Black Opal or just the Opal? Black Opal.
The Black Opal. So after a long embargo, we are assuming that the embargo will be lifted on Wednesday of this week, partially. We're not allowed to speak about the technical details too much, but we can talk swing weight, twist weight, and feel impressions, that sort of thing, and dimensions, but not like the specific technology. So this is the much anticipated, long-awaited.
Oh my goodness! How long has it been?
Yeah, a hot minute since they've been putting out like 14 millimeter versions of the Ruby yeah. And the others, and they've got new shapes, but mostly they've been very iterative. But Dale from 6-0, the owner, has been hard at work on innovating, and by innovating, I really mean it. Like, he's very, very meticulous, and that's why it's taken so long. But he's not one of these companies, not that this is a bad thing, but takes the menu options provided from the factory and manipulates those. He's bringing new technology into the factories, which, so there's a lot of firsts in this paddle, which we can't talk about yet, but eventually they will come out. But just suffice it to say that the technology is very, very different from what you're seeing in any other paddle on the market.
Oh, man. Dale had probably an early ancestor of this at the Dallas event that we went to last year.
Yeah.
This was before foam was even thought of really by anybody. And we played with that for a little bit, and we're like, oh my God, this is is going to be it.
That's how much of a perfectionist Dale is. That was, probably 70-80% of what this is.
Right.
But he had to go to push it to, perfection in his mind. So yeah. And all right, let's talk about the shape, which is their classic diamond shape. So they were the people to spearhead this hybrid shape. So in between wide body, elongated, slightly flared dimension. So if you played with this 6-0 double black diamond or the Ruby, this is the same shape. I know there are additional shapes being worked on and coming out, which will happen shortly after the launch of this shape. I think this will be launched. I can't say the exact date, but we'll say it's coming this year. How about that? Dig the graphics. I'm going to give a close up here of the paddle. Love that kind of topographic.
Oh man, I'm a sucker for a topographic map.
Oh, nice. I don't think that's maybe it's what it's meant to be. I think it's something playing off of the opal mineral. But maybe it does it for me. Regardless, the shape looks great. You can see, maybe I can get it to sparkle a little bit, but the texture is not your traditional peel ply. There's some sparkle to it, and I will say, I can't say exactly what's going on there yet, but it rips spin, and the promise is that it's more durable than your traditional peel plies.
I love that it says all court.
It says all court max power. So I think I know where they're going with this, but it's kind of a contradiction of the way we define as paddle reviewers, two different categories.
It's max power for sure.
It's max power across all of the court. So okay. It's appropriately named. Yeah, let's talk about how it hits. Definitely a juicy paddle. And for those of the other reviewers who went to the factory tour early this year, and I was out, apparently those that they were hitting with were more muted versions of this, and they've added some juice to this. So if you hit with one of the earlier models and you're like, wait, that's not as powerful as you're saying it is, I think you'll be duly surprised by these newer models.
I have a hard time believing it's certified, John, because it hits like a Mack truck on high octane.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Honestly, initial impressions, this might change, but I would put it above the Selkirk boomstick, and between that and the Body Helix Flick F1.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If your game is to hit a flat ball with very little spin, not going to be a great paddle for you because the power of this thing is at times overwhelming.
Yeah, well said.
If you've got great control, if you can make use of the grit that's on there, which is very good, it's a winner, man. This thing is hot.
Yeah, very hot. Good point on the spin. It does come equipped with a very, very good texture that spins the ball. And, I'm not going to say exactly what the texture is, but I can say that it plays similar to like the Selkirk Infinite Grit in terms of, yes, it's very gritty. And one of the benefits of these over peel ply is, with peel ply, you take it out of the box, it's the most glorious paddle for spin-wise for about an hour, And as soon as those peaks on the peel ply, which are just epoxy, your adhesive, they chip off almost immediately. But originally, you're getting the flick spin, you're getting spin with full swings on serves on the baseline, but quickly that flick spin goes away on peel ply. Now, up to now, it's been still the best on the market because the bigger swings you can take and get the spin on drives and from the baseline last longer than any other texture so far. But the benefit to these, and I can't say that I don't know the durability of this yet. We are testing it, but this plays similar to the Infinity Grit in that you get that flick spin, at the kitchen, you can dip your dinks in, you can get your flicks to dip in at the baseline, and into the baseline, you can get the full top spin or slice that you want with this.
Oh, man, I've got about 6 or 7 days with this, John, so figure 14 hours, 15 hours, and I have seen no degradation in either just felt grit or in performance on court.
Yeah. And then that grit, as you said, the spin is very much needed to keep the ball in because it does come off hot, from the baseline at the kitchen. It's got, I'm hesitant to say what it has more of, power versus pop, because I feel like they're pretty well balanced. Like it's a softer feeling paddle, very bassy sounding. We got a ball in here. Thank you, sir. Yeah, so this is the Pickleball Evo, another stiffer paddle. So here's the sound of that. And the Friday.
Almost exactly the same.
Gen 2, Gen 3, higher pitched, and here's the Opal. Like a wood block. And I have specifically had people on the court mention, what is that paddle you're playing with? Like just taking it to open play or, just round robin with the groups we play in. Like most people know I'm always playing with different paddles, but this is one of the only ones that people specifically comment about the sound of on a regular basis. I think the sound is great. That's what I love to hear in my paddle, the bassier tones. And yeah, like back to my point, like it's very much kind of catcher and release, softer feel, full foam feel, Great sweet spot on this, by the way. But it's also got a lot of pop at the same time. I put it kind of the opposite in that regard to the Selkirk boomstick. Like if you like full foam paddles, big sweet spots, but a stiffer feel, more connection to the ball, that boomstick is a great paddle for you, right? If you like, the softer feel, full foam feel, big sweet spot, big power, but more of the catch and release feel than the Black Opal definitely fits into that box a little more. I'd put this, closer to the feel of like I don't want to put it in a category right now or in a box because it very much has its own personality, but closer to the Gearbox GX2 Power feel than to the Selkirk Boomstick feel, but in a category of its own because, not to like over talk it yet because I need more time with it to really dial in what I feel about it. But I will say that it can be hard to control given all the power, even with the big sweet spot. It is still I'd put it in this full foam category where the control is high for the level of power you get. But at this level of power, regardless, you're going to spray some balls sometimes. So sometimes I go down the court and I'm just like, this paddle's freaking amazing. Like, wow, I want to play with this all the time. And other times I hit it another different day and some of the balls are going 6 feet out and I've got to really focus on keeping them in. So, it's going to take some adjustment for everybody, I think. But I do think it's tameable.
The comparison to the GX2 is interesting because the feel and the acoustics are very similar. Mm-hmm. The dwell is also very similar. The play characteristics, however, are much different.
I would agree with that, yeah.
I will say the first time we took this paddle out, I thought to myself, well, that's a lot of fun. It's crazy fun, but there's no way I would ever take this to a tournament because it's just wildly, it's just too much.
Yeah.
Now I'm just enamored with this paddle. I've dialed it in. Mm-hmm. I've adjusted my play style to one that is more just kind of smooth swings on drives versus, these, rapid arm movements. And that has really kind of brought this paddle into line and loving it.
Yeah. You were playing great with it yesterday, for sure. And I saw that initial response from you. It was like, this thing is nuts. One of the benefits of this and any paddle with a lot of power is you can shorten your strokes. And that's something you really have to adjust to. If you're used to taking the big backswings and stuff and playing with a less powerful paddle, you're going to have to shorten those. There is a big perk to that, though, too, right? Where you can be ready for balls much quicker. It increases your hand speed to shorten your strokes, your backswing in particular. But yeah, there's going to be an adjustment period for anybody, including myself. But yeah, this is playing great for me, and I keep coming back to it in my bag. Right now, the 3 paddles I have in my bag that I'm happy to switch around and play with every time I go out and play open play or any other with friends are the Gearbox GX2 Power, the Selkirk elongated boomstick, and this Black Opal. Yep. Yeah.
One thing I like about all 3 of those is when I'm stuck on defense and I've got to, get the paddle to my foot, which is where the balls come in. I don't have to try and get a full swing. I don't have time for it.
Right.
If I can just get my paddle into position, there's a good chance I can get that ball back. And that's so fun with these paddles.
It's going to do the work for you, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm excited for these to come out. I'm excited to keep playing with it. We'll see if I can tame it enough to consider it as a main. But right now, like I said, it's in my top 3 paddles that I'm looking forward to playing with on the court. Good stuff, Eddie.
Okay, well now we're doing this,
right.
John. Yeah. You probably tell your audience they're probably wondering right now, how did Eddie get so young?
Yes. So, Will,
Yeah.
We're just doing this little podcast
Teaser.
first impressions of the Black Opal because
Right,
we
yeah.
just got off a conference call with 6-0. So a little surprise. I didn't tell anybody you were coming,
No?
And yeah, so
I
this
didn't
is gonna- right. The plan was to shoot some content. We're going to shoot a full podcast tomorrow or the next day.
Yep.
But today we're going to focus on the Black Opal because the embargo was just released.
Right. This is crazy. Today, as of recording this, literally hours before, like as soon as I landed, we went to go eat, and you took me to go play pickleball, and you pulled this bad boy out, and I'm like, and I knew it existed, but I never had a chance to hit with it.
Yeah.
This thing is absurd, in my opinion. Like it is elite. Like
In what way absurd?
like I mean, first of all, just kind of the power. Like, do you remember when we met at the first kind of like in-person 6-0 event? What did they have? It was called he had a bunch of prototypes.
37 or something.
Was it 37 or was it 43? And I remember
43, I think it was, yeah.
It was 43. Chris really loved number 43. I hit with it and I was like, this is a rocket ship. Like he's hitting the back fence, and this feels similar to that feeling. I mean, a little toned down, and I wasn't sure if it was the paddle or if it was me because playing here in Denver,
Oh, true.
the atmosphere is just thinner, and I'm even with my regular paddles I normally hit,
Yeah.
like I'm spraying balls out. But near the end of the session, I was starting to dial it in, and I think like the dwell and the feel of this is really good. Is really good. I'm not a fan of that hollow sounding kind of feel that it has, but I can objectively say like this is a really good paddle, and this grit is, I don't know.
Yeah.
This is literally a nail file, guys. It even has that sparkle in it.
Yes.
Right.
And when Eddie and I talked about it too, and I'll lump all of this together. So
Yeah.
me and Eddie talking, you and me talking about it. And when I originally recorded with Eddie, I thought that the embargo was going to be a partial release, so we would not be able to talk about the details of the specs and the technology, but it's full release, so we can talk about everything. So you and
Yeah.
so now we can talk about this grit. So there's
Yes.
actually a diamond texture on here. Now it's similar, like I mentioned in the pod with Eddie. It's similar to the feel of the Infinigrit from Selkirk.
Selkirk. Well,
Yeah.
the latest Infinigrit. I think that.
Yeah. So it's that you get really good flick spin with it and dink spin, as well as a full wind up drives serves from the baseline. But it's made a different way. So it's not a spray on. Apparently, Selkirk's is a spray on. And
Yes.
and
Over
it's
a layer of like
Right.
raw carbon fiber. So this is a peel ply then.
a peel ply with grit in it. And
What do you mean by that? A peel ply with grit in it? Like,
Right. So peel ply, normally you have like a pattern, like it's a cloth.
Yes.
And you stick that over the epoxy, and the epoxy cures into the cloth. You peel the cloth off, and it leaves an impression, a negative impression of that cloth. So if you look at it under a microscope, it looks like a cloth, and that's what gives it the texture. But it's all epoxy. And, one of the things about peel ply, even though it's been the best, longest lasting grit we've had on paddles for the past couple of years, it does lose those peaks really quickly.
Yes.
So it goes from, being able to flick those balls and keep the balls in at the kitchen, and that kitchen spin goes away pretty quick, hours probably. But the fuller serves and stuff
Are still good.
still good for, depends on the player, sometimes up to months.
Yeah.
Whereas
how does the diamond, like, they say this diamond texture, how is the diamond impregnated within the surface, within
Yeah.
the face sheet here?
so it is a peel ply. It's apparently like a flat peel ply. It's epoxy, and the diamonds, I don't know exactly how it's done, the methodology of infusing the diamonds throughout the epoxy, but it's basically, and it's actual industrial grade diamond dust, right?
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, it's the hardest material I think
Yeah.
that we have.
So similar to like Selkirk's idea, like the harder grit is going to withstand like the dust and the balls and little rock particles that the balls pick up and scratch the surface, So, and it's supposed to. So, as the epoxy wears down, or as the little diamond dust, falls off the epoxy, there's another one beside it, below it, and it goes all the way down through the epoxy. So that's the claim, is that it's going to be
They say it's self-healing, which I think is
Self-healing,
cool.
yeah.
I'll have to look into that. I mean, I've seen that. I've seen they have some of those surfaces in
Yeah.
like materials like in phones and things like that
Right.
as well. I would like you to do a test, John,
Yes.
to test this self-healing. Like when you take one of your
Oh, yeah,
opals, like gun it on a microscope, scratch it and go back again after, I don't know, hour, 2 hours, maybe a day, and see if that area healed. Right?
Yeah. Like, mark one area of the paddle.
Right.
Get a microscopic image of it, play with it, and come back and look at the microscope and see, because you can see when the surface gets worn down on traditional peel ply, it just looks like almost
Black.
like snot.
Yeah,
and
it's
across it.
Yeah, and it's sheen. It's like it becomes very.
It's the epoxy melting, basically.
Right, exactly.
This will show the grit. If it looks similar to the Infinigrit, which looks like little sharp rock particles under a microscope, I imagine it's very similar for this. But yeah, you'll be able to see if it's still sharp and there's still rock particles, but they're different rock particles.
Right. It's different. Yeah. That means a new one came and replaced it like shark teeth. I think that'd be a cool experiment to do.
For sure.
I still wonder how they get the diamond like in there. Like, is it part of the peel ply like cloth, or is it mixed in with the epoxy before they cure it? I just want to know. Maybe something that Dale would be open to telling, or maybe not. Maybe that's proprietary. I don't know.
I think he's trying to hold on to. He's done a lot of work on this to get it to market. He wants to hold on to the proprietary technology.
Well, this says next gem technology. Let's see what other thing. Oh, he listed.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's see. Let's read them off. So let's go just in order. We went over Diamond Tough, which is what he's calling it. All right, Carbon Light. What is Carbon Light?
Carbon Light. Oh, that's the frame.
We're not talking about Carbon Heavy. Carbon Light.
So it's a framed paddle. Even though it has an edge guard, there is a solid carbon fiber frame that goes all the way around, and it's different from the carbon fiber seam in Gen 2.
How so?
Thermoformed. You stick a pliable piece of carbon fiber in a mold on a Gen 2 paddle.
Okay.
Stick it around the edges, and then you stick the edge foam in and stuff. This is a standalone frame that they do that you can. Actually, I've got it out here.
You got it? Oh, yeah, go get it. Interesting.
It is light, very light.
Right. So this increases the stiffness. So this is what they use. This is what 60 is using versus the like the thermoformed like technology that we're used to.
Yeah.
Right?
So on the thermoform technology we're used to, there's a single unidirectional band of carbon fiber that's flexible.
Yes. That they insert with like
yet.
They insert with foam or like a seam of foam, right?
That's a little separate. So the carbon fiber seam goes around the edge, they just kind of mold it around the edge, and then they stick what looks like a sticker, basically.
A sticker, yeah. And once you put in the heat, in the oven, it expands.
So it's all kind of flexy going in. This is a solid state carbon fiber core that then they do put it in the mold, and then they start assembling other things.
So I'd imagine they put this in the mold first, and then they put in the foam core and whatever else that they're adding in, and then they put the edge guard on top. I wonder if this is attached. Do you know if this is the frame like epoxied onto the core?
Yeah,
okay.
It is somehow. I don't know. It happens during curing. I don't know what sort of epoxy is used, but yeah, it's basically welded on.
I can't wait for you to cut it. So I can see all the layers.
We'll take a look. I think I do have an X-ray too, and I'll put in B-roll what it looks like when we take the face sheet off, and let's talk about the core. So he's calling it a solid core. Most of us are going to recognize it as foam, but it's not EPP foam.
Not EPP. He says it's G4 core is what he's calling it. So I'm guessing it's a Gen 4 core.
So it's something he's sourcing from Scandinavia somewhere.
What?
Yeah, some kind of aerospace engineered foam.
Foam? Is there a name for this foam? So is it like based off of EVA, EPP?
There is. He hasn't told anybody though.
Oh, okay.
It's white. It looks like a closed cell foam, instead of the open cell, and it is stiff feeling when you feel it.
So it's a high density?
It's high density. Feels similar stiffness to EPP, but it's very different looking than EPP. You know how EPP looks like styrofoam with the beads and stuff? This does not look like that.
It's
microporous. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Looks more like MPP foam to me.
Gotcha. There's so many different types of foam. I remember when I was helping Nam do some stuff with foam, and we were just experimenting, and he was just showing me all the different types of foam that you can have in the different applications of them. So I'm curious to see what he has. And then you can obviously make your own density kind of foam by like melting and mixing, and adding different materials into it.
For sure.
Okay.
So whatever it's called, G4
G4
floating
core.
in the center around it is a very thin band of EVA foam.
Always the
to float
EVA.
It, to float it, yeah.
To float it, yeah.
And then there's another layer of that white
Same
G4
foam.
foam around the exterior. I do not think there's edge foam. I think it goes straight out to the perimeter, which is the frame.
The frame,
of paddle.
this frame right here.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you need edge foam then?
Right.
Right. I mean, because the whatever same foam they're using on the outside is essentially replaces the edge foam. It is the edge foam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Handle is now hard pallets instead of the soft EVA, which,
Okay.
yeah, he was not too excited about this.
What do you mean? Why wasn't he too excited?
He liked the EVA. He said a lot of players prefer it because it provides a little bit of vibration damping.
Right.
Said that we paddle reviewers are kind of pushing this on to people, saying that, which I think there's a point there. I mean, I think a lot of people didn't mind the EVA. I prefer the hard pallets. The PU hard pallets.
I prefer hard pallets, but I also come from tennis,
Yeah.
so I prefer that as well. But yeah, I can see you get some vibration in it. But there's some. I mean, if it's too soft, then
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, you can't feel the ball. And sometimes if it's too soft, I feel like it flexes more in your hand.
Yeah.
You know?
I just feel like, I came from tennis too. Tennis rackets have great handles, and I love the feel of a pickleball paddle handle to feel similar to
Right.
a top quality.
But he
tennis
also
racket.
added something else in the handle, didn't he, from the presentation? What was it
It's
called?
called a shock shield, which is silicone, basically small pieces of silicone.
In the handle, like inject into the handle. Kind of
Yeah.
like the rivets, like on a kitchen knife, right?
Exactly.
I just don't know how, I guess, I'm sure it helps. I just don't know how effective it is. Like, unless like you play with something bare, like so you can compare, like I wouldn't know. Because is it playing soft because of the foam, or is it playing soft because of that shock? I wonder if he made it because he didn't, because he switched to the hard pallet handle, and he's like, okay, maybe I don't like that, so maybe then he added this
The gel to
the shock, what's it called, shock shield,
yeah.
into it instead to compensate for that.
Maybe. And you're right. I mean, this is such a unique combination of materials that it plays uniquely, but
It's all new tech too. So how do you know?
it's really hard to pinpoint. Like, what does the gel do?
Maybe
Yeah,
it does nothing. Like, who knows?
Or maybe it does something.
Yeah, we have no idea, right?
So that's the shock shield,
Okay, and-
which is silicone, and then
Right.
power gel is another new technology.
What is power? Like,
that they have.
do you think it was a good idea to cram everything into one?
I think so. I think the paddle speaks for itself. I think a lot of people are going to like it. I think it's probably too powerful for a lot of people.
It's almost already too powerful for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know everybody's chasing power, but honestly, I've been kind of dialing it back a little bit. I've been going more for as much power as I can control, but I've been chasing more like feel, right? My experience of hitting the ball,
Right.
Making sure that it gives me confidence. Like because if I don't feel confident, then I'm not gonna play well. And ultimately, we want something for us to play well as players, right? I think sometimes we forget that in us as paddle enthusiasts. We forget that we chase power because it's kind of like the low-bearing fruit. It makes us feel confident, but I don't know if you're missing a lot of shots. I don't know.
But on the flip side of that, if I were Dale with 6-0 and I was going to introduce a paddle and you had the option to launch a more muted one, not an all chord or even a low power one.
Yeah.
Versus this, all day long I'm going with this one as a paddle manufacturer because this is what 90% of the
people
public actually want.
Everybody wants a Ferrari, but they might not be able to drive. I get it. It.
And they have the capacity to tweak the formula and get it. I'm sure they will launch some all chord versions later. So I get it.
Yeah,
you know.
I do like it. And I like, honestly, this look. What do you think about this design right
I
here?
dig it a lot. I love that topographic look. And
Yes, the color.
Yeah. And,
They did a good job. Great job.
and then the power gel, which is apparently it's some kind of gel that he's not letting us know exactly what it is in between the face layup and the core. Not the adhesive layer, but it's a gel in between all of that, which does something to the dwell time and adds power and pop, he says. So I don't know exactly. And again, there's so much going on in here. It's hard to isolate these.
Yeah.
So
do you think it plays that much different from any other floating core paddles that you played with?
I mean, yes to me, and yes to you, I'm sure also.
It does feel a little different, but like not so different. I would have thought like maybe the power drill and some of those things, it would be like the contrast would be greater.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
my follow up on that was I think to most people, not most people, but to some people who aren't as familiar with all the paddles out there and don't hit them all day long, this is going to feel very similar, I think, to most floating full foam. But that's not to say that this isn't something different, because it is.
It's
There's
different.
a lot of different technology, and it does have a lot of subtleties that I'm not feeling in other paddles. So here's a question for you, because Eddie and I talked about it too. So going to, we're finished with the technology for the most part. Going to how it plays. I was trying to like give two paddles to contrast it to or to compare it to, right?
Yeah.
And I would kind of sandwich it in between the Selkirk boomstick. So it has that firepower, but it definitely feels plusher to me, softer to me. And I would put it in between that and sort of the Gearbox GX2 Power.
GX2 Power.
Even though it's on its own, I'd put it closer to the GX2 Power in terms of the feel of it. But there's a lot of characteristics that stand on its own. How would you compare it to those two paddles?
Okay. Let's see. I think the closest thing, I would say the boomstick is one. And I think what makes it really close to that is really just the sound. Like that hollow reverberation that you kind of get from it, which is not my favorite sound. Like, I don't dislike it.
It's funny. I love that sound.
I know a lot of people love that sound, but I do not like it. I like a more muted feel. I've always liked a more muted feel. Like, I mean, even when I first started playing pickleball, that pop sound, like, it kind of annoyed me at first. I got used to it, and now I kind of like it. But like, I don't like. I really didn't like, the ripple when that came out. I was like, nah, I can't handle this sound. So it sounds like that. Maybe a little bit like less than the boom, and I would say to me, maybe closer to the Loco, the new Loco versus the GX2 Power. I feel like the GX2 Power to me feels a lot more like, I don't know, like the Yola like Pro 4s. And I don't know, maybe it's just because of the spin generation. I just feel the spin potential on this is one of the best spin potential paddles I think like I probably played with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ball dip's hard, but you need that spin because you have so much firepower.
Right.
You did notice right before we started.
Yes.
I have a new one, and I have
Brand
one
new
I've played with for probably a total of 14 hours.
14 hours.
So let's hear what the new one sounds like. There is a difference.
Where should I be? Closest mic right here?
Yeah.
Or? Okay. It's really like deeper.
Yeah, deep-throated.
Yeah.
But if you pass it to me, this one's
Like
definitely a lot lower.
Yeah.
I'm going to pass it back to you.
Okay. Oh. Yeah. Do you think, I don't know, without actually like going to a court and like hitting a few ground strokes and serves, like I can't really tell if it's, that big of a difference or that big of a jump. I was just hitting up against your wall right here, and it's really just the sound. But in terms of like speed, I really couldn't tell. But I'd be curious to see. Maybe we should toss this on the Canon.
Yeah, we'll toss it on the Canon tomorrow morning and
When I
see
the
if there's a
Canon.
difference between the two, to see if there is any increase in power and break-in. I've not noticed much, but that's, I haven't been looking for it, and it's really easy to adapt if the power kind of gradually increases. So we'll take both out tomorrow, hit them both side by side, do some radar gun measurements, and test it on the Q-Core Canon as well to see if there is any break-in. I imagine things are just loosening up inside, which it accounts for the sound. But the question is there a corresponding increase in power, right? We'll see. So we'll come back on our next podcast, which we'll shoot tomorrow or so, release it next week, and
Sweet.
give you some scoop. $250 is what this is launching at. It's launching in what did he say?
That's pretty good.
October, right?
Yeah. I say pretty good. I think that's fair, I suppose, if all this technology is true. I think for that diamond tough tech, if that's true, that's self-healing, which I think is the coolest tech in this paddle. Like, I think just for that $250 price tag is kind of warranted. Still fairly hefty, but compared to like, $300, $333 boomstick, and what are other expensive paddles out there? What is the Gearbox GX2? What's that going for? Like 280?
280. Yeah, so it's below those two.
Solid.
By the way,
choice.
the tentative launch date is October 19th.
October
That
19th.
may change, but that's going to be the launch date so far, 250. And yes, it's easy to kind of discount what paddle company owners say, but sometimes Dale is just like, he can't help himself. He just speaks the truth, you know?
Yeah.
So he did say that he thinks this is probably the most expensive paddle in terms
make.
of materials on the market. And, you know, I think there's probably some truth to that.
I mean-
he's sourcing the foam from Scandinavia. He's sourcing that
He's
gel.
sprinkling diamonds in there. I mean, come on.
He's got industrial
Bling,
grade
bling.
diamonds, which is not like buying a diamond ring, but it's going to
No.
be more expensive than whatever other grit is being used. He's sourcing the gel and the power gel from Africa. He's sourcing some stuff from Australia. I don't know what that is, and also obviously some Chinese stuff.
Where
in
does he
there
get
as
ideas
well.
for all this? Like, I wonder if sometimes what's going through his mind. Like,
But yeah, I mean, I think with all the clearly he's been doing a ton of R&D on this. And,
Yeah.
and you know what's been supporting all that R&D has been the sales of the double black diamond and the ruby and all the things that have been
being successful,
selling.
but he's been quiet.
But he's been quiet. But can you imagine doing all this R&D that he's done for this?
Yeah.
What that costs on its own if he didn't have the infrastructure and the paddle sales to support
To
that,
fund this,
He
yeah.
would have to sell these for way much
That's
more.
true. Like 300 or something.
Anyway, yeah, I think it's a fair price. 12-month warranty on this. So
12 month?
That's good. And there's also some other shapes coming. So this is the traditional diamond shape, so the hybrid shape with a slight flare on the sides. There's going to be elongated. There's going to be a wide body.
Hopefully he brings back the Willinator shape for me.
Talking about the
that was so
today.
funny in the chat. Like, who mentioned that? Was that?
That was Dale.
It was Dale?
I think it was his wife.
It was his wife.
Yeah.
That was so funny. I was like, is there elongated shape? I put it in the chat. And then it's funny that she mentioned the Willinator shape. I perked up.
So I got a Q core on this one. Is brand new, the one
Yeah.
I've been playing with.
What was it?
And my Q core came in at 0.435, and I'll put a chart up on B-roll here, and it roughly correlates to USAP's by chance because I'm using a different inbound velocity and a different ball than USAP's.
Okay.
But roughly the cutoff between illegal and legal for mine is 0.446. I'm still kind of narrowing that down. The body helix flick F1 fell slightly above that into the red zone for me, and I still think that's probably the boundary. I feel like the flick.
That flick was crazy.
It was, yeah.
As soon as I hit it, I put it down. I was like, there's no way I can control this.
But if this falls above the Selkirk boomstick elongated and the Q core,
So it falls
between
in between.
the boomstick and the body helix flick F1, which is exactly where I feel like it plays like on the court.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would agree.
So yeah, well, again, we'll do the Q core on this used one and the new one tomorrow, and give everybody an update on the next pod. Yeah, I mean, what else? What else on this?
I don't know what else to talk about. I think it looks sweet, and you really can see the little specks in the light.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a very attractive paddle. It's gonna
Good job.
garner some attention on the courts just from its looks and the sound alone.
The sound definitely.
Yeah.
The sound definitely.
We've already had several people comment when I've been playing with it, just in my friend group. Like I'll be switching paddles and playing with all these things, including the boomstick, which is very loud, prominent sound. And a lot of people ask about the sound of the opal. They're just like, what is it?
I will say the sound of the Opal is, even though I technically don't really like it, it is more satisfying to me than the boomstick. I don't know what it is.
Very aggressively loud.
Yes, it's aggressively loud, like too much. Like, have you ever hit the boom? Like, one time I did like a scorpion with the boomstick, like somebody, and I hit it really hard. It was next to my ear, and it actually hurt. It rang, and I was like,
Jeez.
that kind of hurt, you know?
That's pretty nutty. The $250 price is before code, and there'll be 10% discounts for everybody's code. So
Nice.
that's it.
Yeah.
This is awesome, Will. So you
First
and I
impressions.
just sat down in the meeting,
Yes.
and then we walked straight down.
We
here.
watched, yep. That was good. It was good to kind of be back in the mix, back in the fold a little bit, talking about paddles. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it was good stuff.
Good stuff. All right.
Cool.
Thanks, Will. See you
Yeah.
on the podcast.
Yeah.